Welcome to this week's 3 Good Minutes. Today I'm going to talk about the need to get the whole picture. The pear tree and the seasons of life. I found this story, The Pear Tree and the Seasons of Life, on a website called What's Danny Doing? The website is dedicated to inspiration. This story that I'm about to tell you illustrates how often we rush to judgment based upon our own limited perspective. Let us be reminded up front, especially in this day of highly polarized opinions, that only God has the purview large enough to know how things really are. We only get a glimpse based upon our own limited experience. Here's the story. There was once a man who had 4 sons. Wanting to teach them about the dangers of judging things too rapidly, he decided to send each one of them on a journey, one after the other, to a distant pear tree. Each son went in a different season, the first in winter, the second in spring, and so on. At the end of the year, he brought his children together and asked them what they'd seen. The son who traveled in winter described a gnarled, twisted, and barren tree that stood stark and ugly against the land. The son who went in spring disagreed. No, he said, the tree seemed full of hope and promise, with green buds along its branches. The third son, who traveled in summer, disagreed once more. The pear tree he'd seen was covered in beautiful blossoms that looked and smelled divine. And finally, the last son, who'd made the journey in fall, disagreed again, describing a tree laden with sweet and delicious pears that tasted better than any he'd eaten before. When each son had spoken, the father said, they were all correct because they'd only seen but one season of the pear tree's life. He explained to his sons that it's foolish and impossible to judge something after one glimpse in the flow of time. The essence of something, whether it's a tree or their fellow human, can only be measured as a whole at the end of the year, having seen it in its fullness. To make your judgment in winter is to miss the promise of spring, the beauty of summer, and the fruit in fall. Well, here's the moral of the story. Refuse to judge yourself, life, or other people based upon a single mistake or challenging time. Refuse to let the pain of one season destroy the joy of those to come. And for the Christian, I will add this. Only God sees the big picture. We just get a glimpse in this life. Remember what Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. I don't know about you, but I think that is one of the most stunning verses in the entire biblical canon. It succinctly captures that we only get a glimpse of God's grand plan in this life, but a wider view will come to us one glad day. In the meantime, let us stay more open-minded to other perspectives. Amen.